Alright, put your nerd hats on because this is the episode of the scrap Star Trek models, scrap pieces. So I started making these models back around 2002. I had my first surgery, ACL surgery. The job, my employer, it was big business for injuries, so I had a lot of convalescent leave and I decided to make Star Trek ship designs out of everyday household, like office supply pieces. So right here, oops, this is a Federation combat fleet, and basically what they're made of is the saucer section is like the pads for the bottom of chairs. They're actually average about 11 centimeters. So the scale I used, 1 centimeters equals 37 meters, which the Enterprise comes out to about 360 meters. Or an easier way to measure it is 1/2 centimeter is 16.5 meters. So here up front you can see some destroyers, kind of with the Kelvin style. So the secondary main, the main nacelle, that's a bend pick cap, and the top, actually I think the top is the nacelle, that is a mechanical pen cover. Like, it's just a bunch of various parts. And the phaser turrets are matchsticks. And then these are this would be a Intrepid class with the double secondary hull. With the secondary hulls are also some big pins. Sorry, it's a little dusty because all of my Starship models are in the storage room / guest bedroom, because this is a Terran Empire household and the Empress won't let me display them anywhere else, so when her friends come and stay they can make fun of my models. So you can see this one probably more tried to be an Ares class. I would pick it up, but it would be too shaky. I can try to pick it up here and show you the bottom of it. So this would try to be an Ares class, of course. The bottom nacelles, that's also a big pin and maybe mechanical pin for the nacelles. And these heavy cruisers back here, the secondary hull is actually a super glue cap. You see I use the coasters quite a bit. Some Legos got thrown in there. A lot of markers, metallic markers. And then these, I tried to make similar classes of ships, but I would say the ships I designed these models for would be post Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. So these I say are combat, the Starfleet combat, one of the Starfleet combat fleets. I think this is 29 ships right here, and this is the support ship with a cruiser escort, and they're in tactical groups of 5s, or I guess squadrons. And then these are the Miranda classes with different variants. or the, I think that was the Miranda class in Star Trek II, the Reliant. And then got another, pause it here. And then here got another combat fleet. This was supposed to be modeled after the Oberth. Focus there. Every time I move it, it goes out of focus. And you can see different types. I like to use big pens for themselves because it's kind of simple. And like you see the destroyers, I always kind of modeled them after the Kelvin, kind of like that upper secondary hull. And here is another Oberth, but a armed Oberth, like an armed scout ship, sensor ship. You can see just various types. So another kind of JJ inspired ships with a double secondary hull and the two nacelles up top, which would be a heavy cruiser, different style of heavy cruiser. And then these are the starships with the poker chips for the saucer section, which I kind of like these designs the best. I have a better view for them. Some just turn out, and then of course here is a tug which supports this combat battle fleet, and then over here is another tug with its escorts to support this combat fleet. So yeah, all my models are the militarized Starfleet. And down here got some more. I think this is kind of like a, you see I made the 3 nacelle ship. Oh, I should turn the light on. Well, there we go. You can see all the dust. So there's a 3 nacelle Juggernaut, I believe it was, or a fast cruiser. There's another Intrepid class. This one, I forgot the name of this, but I kind of like the bigger nacelles up top. It's not a Miranda class. I forgot what the class of ship that was. I think that design is a JJ inspired one. And over here, it's kind of another JJ inspired one. This one was supposed to be modeled after the Franklin, but it's kind of hard to. And here's another Miranda class, one of my favorites. It's got a bunch of phaser banks or torpedo bank launchers on the bottom, top, and phaser strips, phaser turrets. Yep, so there's maybe show these again, because with the light on you can see a little better. Yeah, I call the poker chip one the Royale class, because those turned out a lot better. I just like sometimes when you start tinkering and putting stuff together, of course after you have surgeries like elbow surgery, shoulder surgery, you have a lot of time on your hands, so you can mess around with stuff. And as you can tell, this is supposed to be a Juggernaut, a big one, but it's all full of space dust. And there's another Royale class. So yeah, those are a lot of the Federation ships. And here is Klingon ships made out of scrap parts, forks, plastic things, all kinds of different stuff. These different scout bird of preys, going up to maybe some D12 bird of preys, some Katangs, kind of Fafsa names. Maybe like a frigate bird of prey, or a, and then these are I like to call them, to the left and right, the Cavort bird of preys, because I didn't like how they just took the D12 and supersized it. It's kind of silly. And then this is my D8 battle cruiser, which I'll show a panoramic view of later. There's another battle cruiser, battle frigate. There's a supply ship with super glue caps for the cargo modules. This is another supply ship with cubes for the cargo modules. And that's a battle group of like 20 ships. And here's some more scout ships, bird of preys, cargo ships in the middle there. Some more battle frigates, destroyer maybe. And then these are the Cavort battle cruisers, not the supersized D12s. Then some gun ships, a supply ship. And over here, some more different bird of prey types. There's all kinds of different fast ones you can match those up with. And a larger battle frigate there. And then focus. This would be a Gull-wing battle cruiser. I think it's a D19, D9, or this would be a D10 Gull-wing, or D20. And these two are my versions of the Enterprise era D4 Klingon battle cruisers, because I didn't like how they just reused the Katinga. So I made my own design. You can see in better light. Got some still photos you can see. So this is my version of the Enterprise era D4 Klingon battle cruiser. Not the Katinga, obviously. And I guess that might be a Star Trek Discovery Klingon supply ship, because you can just make about any type of Klingon ship you want from this Discovery era. Here's a Fafsa battle cruiser. I forgot the name of it that I kind of got the idea off of. And here's another Fafsa inspired Klingon battle cruiser. Can't remember what it was called, but there it was. It's got the warp nacelles on the wings there. So unfortunately I forgot the names of what I modeled these Fafsa ships off of. Here's another Fafsa inspired Klingon ship. And then we also made some retro Enterprise era bird of prey, different types. The silver ones is what I tried to make the retro Enterprise era bird of prey, and these are just some Klingon scout ships. And here's some other Klingon designs. These ones are actually made out of headphones that were broken, so I kind of also Fafsa inspired. I guess this would be a Klingon gunship. So basically it's a headphone turned into a ship with the torpedo launcher phasers on the sides. And I think it's a fork on the top there. I can't remember what ship that is. It almost looks like the Slave One, the Boba Fett ships. So I tried to match all the different styles in the same battle groups. Some are colored better than others. These battle cruisers. This one would be a Dreadnought. That's a Fafsa. Got that off of a Fafsa ship, and this one too is also a Fafsa inspired homemade scrap model Klingon battle cruiser. And this thing also is a Fafsa inspired ship. And then that's a neutronic fuel carrier back there, that white one. This one is supposed to be a repair ship. And then that's a cargo vessel. So yeah, all different types. I just gotta watch out for that Izzy. Oh, here's another Enterprise era. I guess that would be maybe like a cruiser, light cruiser, Klingon Enterprise era cruiser. And same with that, if you focus there, that's also a Enterprise era Klingon, maybe like a battle frigate, and then that would maybe be like a attack ship, assault ship. Yep. So I'll have to count all these up and see how many of these models I made over about 20 years. And then when you have a bunch of surgeries and injuries, luckily all of them were repairable and nothing permanent, then you just kind of do it as a hobby. Just kind of so next will be this is my favorite Klingon design, the D8, but I'll get some panoramic shots of that later. And then these the battle cruisers, my version of the K-Vort, not just a supersized D12. It was probably my favorite Klingon designs that I made. Tried to make them somewhat similar. And then, so next, we'll get some Romulan ships. Now the Romulan ships. And the good things about making these scrap models in the Star Trek universe era of the 2290s or early 2300s is they've never really been seen on screen before, so you kind of have free will to make designs and also use Fafsa. So these ones originally so these appear originally, I tried to design them off the D4 off of Star Trek Into Darkness, which I think should have been called like a K2. But since they look so unique, they look more Romulan with the bird shape. I never made a real Romulan bird of prey because it looks too similar to shaky cam to a Federation ship, so I just didn't do it. This is kind of one of my... I kind of like this Romulan warbird, like a strike ship, corvette. It has a Romulan aesthetic. This is made out of forks, I believe, and also I think these wings I cut them out of the little plastic bread. You get on loaves of bread, you get those little plastic holders there. And yeah, so you can just use about anything you can think of to make these models. And here, like these are missile boats, Romulan missile boats. So like I always thought, so the bottom you can kind of see I put some, get it to focus. Hold it up here, it'll focus better. There we go. Some missiles on there. So in mine, I just said these are hyper missiles, which they have 4 or 5 photon warheads in them, and they go maybe warp 1 or 2, and they just kind of autonomous guided, and they explode on impact, kind of like a photon torpedo long range missile, and they kind of go like a shotgun. And these these green ones here are kind of predecessors to the Valdor, and what I made these out of is actually a razor. I just cut a razor. The handle would have been down here, and then added a front. Used some better focus up here, maybe. Focus. Some fork legs for the cannons, and then the back of the front of the razor that holds the blade, I think that was for the engines. And then the bottom has cargo bay, so this would be like a Romulan battle cruiser, predecessor to the Valdor. Another Fafsa cherry pick, and then these are kind of some Romulan warbirds. I tried to do the swept wing front effect, and that is it's too difficult to make the Derridex battle cruiser with just out of scrap parts, so never. And that would be a Romulan cargo vessel. And down here, so let me turn on the light so we get to see all that space dust. So you can see some more warbirds. Try to do the swept wing thing. Probably my favorite warbird is this one, which I can't remember what I made that out of, but whatever it was some kind of weird jewelry thing or something. Might have been a ring that I just cut off. Didn't have any more of them, so it's one of a kind. So you see, I tried to keep the Romulan aesthetic similar, and these are also kind of like some smaller Picard type, those Romulan corvettes we saw, even though this time frame is way before, but they still had scout ships. There's some more up here. These small ones right there. And then this guy, This one at the back's another scout ship. Be a Romulan. Wow, it's really dusty with the light on. When you get your nerd models to the storage room, it gets a little dusty in here. And there's a couple Romulan warbirds. And then this is my favorite one. This is my version of the Scimitar, but I say this is the Romulan predecessor of the Scimitar. So it looks a little different. I have some better panoramic shots for those. So, yep, those are the Romulans. These kind of tried to do a Diderdex style with the upper wing at least. And these guys are supposed to be cargo vessels or troop carrying ships or fast destroyers, which are like cargo destroyers. Like these right here. And some cargo vessels or torpedo ships. Here's another cool scout ship. It turned out. Kind of liked how that looked. Here's some Andorian inspired ships. As you can see, this one tried to make it look like the Fafsa Andorian cruiser. So once again used a chair slider. Then on the bottom got mechanical pencils for the nacelles. I thought that one turned out pretty good. And then torpedo launchers on top there are zip ties with the blue zip tie in the middle, and then forks for those are ends of forks for the phaser strips. It's supposed to be a Federation era Andorian ship. And then these are kind of Andorian, probably cargo warships, fast destroyers maybe. And this is an Andorian Federation ship that I couldn't really peg what, so I just said, it'll be Andorian. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nacelles, so it's an Andorian. And these ones are kind of based off the Enterprise Andorian cruiser looks. This one it's just got phasers coming out with the warp, the impulse engine and warp nacelles on the bottom, and then phaser strips, phaser ball turrets all over the place. And that's kind of another, like I said, the good thing about making this in the 2290s is you kind of design whatever you want. As long as it's got kind of an Andorian look. Just gotta turn on the light to make. Alright, so there's a Andorian cruiser. And these are just Federation ships built by the Andorians. Here's like Andorian, probably a light cruiser, possibly. Some cargo ships, and then Andorian cruisers. Then another Andorian battle cruiser, heavy cruiser. And then these, wasn't sure what, I tried to make these Andorian, but they kind of look Xindi, but I don't really like the Xindi, so I just say they're a different style of Andorian ships. Kind of got the swept back look, which they do somewhat resemble Xindi ships, I guess, the insectoids, but I just say they're Andorian. See, Izzy E, the cat probe was in here. Get my allergies going. He hasn't destroyed any ships lately, so I guess he's pretty happy about whatever the cat probe gets angry about. So he hasn't caused any destruction lately, but he's usually locked out of this room because these are very fragile models. Like I said, if you drop these, they're gonna just fly apart. So it's a pretty fragile thing, but it's just kind of fun putting them together. And then here is some Vulcan ships. Tried to make the warp nacelle rings out of I don't know, I think those are plastic bottle, something with the plastic bottle. This one was a ring that became a Vulcan ship, Vulcan cruiser, some other Vulcan cruisers, and then these are smaller Vulcan vessels made out of all different types of stuff. It's all dusty. And these were just originally some type of transports, troop transports, cargo transports. Yeah. So here's my workbench where I just put a few Romulan strike ships. So you see they're average about 4 centimeters, give or take. So these ships are about 66 to 60 meters. So about one of the scout class bird of prey types. So this is my workbench with all the little plastic gizmos. I used to make these scrap Trek model ships, so I put them in little containers. See, like here is a piece of a zip tie that was used to make some of the wings for these little Romulan strike birds. On here is some mechanical pencil. Just grab one out there. Mechanical pencil leads, which make good cannons, the wing cannons for the Klingon ships, the cruisers, large K-Vork cruiser cannon. And then put all these little plastic things in these little, make all kinds of storage stuff. Try to organize them by what they are, little zip ties and stuff. So each thing has a different skull thing, has bread, the bread under the loaves of bread you can use for some wing parts, all kinds of different things. As you can see, it's kind of a mess. Markers, everything else in the storage room. And then here's another box of stuff that I use. Just a bunch of random things. Altoid boxes. So here's some unused nacelles. This would be from a mechanical pencil. Looks like maybe it was used and ripped off. Something right on there, I don't know. Other types of nacelles that were not used or used, can't remember. So yeah, all types of different things you can use. These are actually cigar things that work out for, you use a razor blade. It can be a torpedo launcher. So yeah, all kinds of stuff there, as you can see. Go on for hours going through markers. These metallic markers do not last very long, especially the silver ones. I have one in here. I don't know why, but the silver ones do not last long at all.